What is the key to success in LA? Our guest today is a well-recognised LA talent scout. He's helped American, Australian and British actors get top representation in LA. Stay tuned as his insights into the industry can help anyone with dreams of making it big. Happy Sunday, peeps. You're watching The Actors Process. I am your host and acting junkie, Claire Elizabeth D. And today we're shooting in the heart of Melbourne. And I am so excited about our guest today. He knows everything about having a career as an on-screen actor in LA. Hollywood talent scout, Jason Seiner. Hey Jason, how are you?
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Actors Process.
Thank you, thank you.
So Jason, I was lucky enough to go to your pro acting and the Hollywood Market seminar on the weekend, and it was so refreshing to hear an expert like yourself really encourage actors to get out of a fantasy and actually take their acting career seriously and actually commit. So you market yourself as a talent scout. What exactly is a talent scout?
Well, especially dealing with an overseas search, managers and agents, I'm sort of the extension of a management or agency, and looking for actors overseas where they don't have the time to look, to actually meet with the actors, meet with the agents, go to the acting schools and actually look for talent that are thinking about coming to LA.
What's inspired you to be a talent scout?
I think it was almost stems from when I first came out to LA, and I had a very strong background in theater. I had been working for quite a long time from a very early age, but I was very frustrated because I couldn't get seen. And I think the most frustrating thing for an actor is not to go and to fail and to not get the role, but to never get the chance to fail, to never get seen. And I think what drives me is to find talent, raw talent, and give them the chance to be seen at a high level.
Are there a lot of talent scouts out there in Hollywood?
Not in LA. I think within the city itself, you have so many assistants and assistants of assistants and the agents and managers. Yeah, everybody wandering around. I mean, I'm sure there's actors that would disagree, that would say, well, why haven't I been found? But for most of the time, and it's also what I teach, the reason why they haven't got their chance is because they actually haven't done the work to get all their marketing tools together. So they're being seen, but they're not presenting themselves either in person or online, which is such a big, an important tool nowadays. They're not showing themselves off in a marketable way.
So how do actors actually get scouted?
By becoming visible, and not only becoming visible, but becoming visible in a professional manner by showing off your best. I have a lot of times where actors will create an acting reel, which is you have to have an acting reel, and you have to have the highest professional level. And a lot of actors will create a reel that has average stuff on it, or they put everything on it. And you have to show yourself at always your best, at your highest professional level to get a chance.
How much time and energy should actors not living in LA invest in their own industry before considering making the move to LA?
Well, they have to have everything together. Otherwise, you're going to LA and you're going to be looked at as an amateur. It's just too competitive. There's approximately 200,000 actors in Los Angeles, and plus it's a world, now everything's online, everything's being digitally submitted. So you're competing against the entire world, and on a stage that big, you cannot be unprepared. So you have to have everything together to even get a chance to audition.
So what are the essential ingredients that actors have to have in the mix before actually moving to LA?
Well, aside from obviously being talented and being trained and all the things that go into making you a great actor, before going to LA, you have to have the highest professional headshots, and not just one. And they can't be theater style headshots. They've got to be, about 6 different on-camera headshots, and there's a whole range, and some of it is specific to what type of actor you are and what kind of characters you pursue. And then you have to have a professional U.S. formatted resume, as we call it, or CV, as it's commonly down here. And you also have to have an acting reel, and that's where most actors, even actors who have worked a lot in television, that's mostly where their downfall is.
And they probably need an American accent as well.
Yes, yes, yes. A flawless American accent. Not the American accent you can learn if you have able to have the script for a while, but an accent where you could sit across from me in a cafe, we could just have a conversation, and I would not know that you are not from anywhere outside of LA.
Should actors, before they move to LA, should they get in contact with agents and managers?
Well, certainly, and in fact, that becomes part of the process even for getting a work visa. It's imperative you have to have a sponsor, but also you have to get all your materials. First of all, you have to present yourself at that level, and yes, then you have to reach out, not just to one person, not just to 2, but to anybody who you might be right for, who might be looking for you at the stage you're at.
What is the difference in LA between a manager and an agent? Because I know here in Australia and other countries it can be different.
Well, you only really have managers, or really only need them, in Los Angeles or New York. And it's just, again, a factor of having so many people trying to get seen and fighting for attention. And the difference here, you kind of, in a lot of places, an agent will do their basic job, which is getting the breakdowns, looking at the actors they have, submitting the right ones to the right roles, and negotiating the contracts. Well, but they're also more accessible, though, and you can ask them about your career or whatever. Well, in LA, agents are so busy, there's so much work that they're negotiating contracts. Their clients are so big. There's some agencies in Los Angeles that have 200 agents, let alone all the actors that each agent represents. So as a manager is someone who, whereas an agent might have 10 of your type, and when there's a role, all 10 of you go, a manager only has you. You're the only one of that type that will ever go to an audition for a particular role. So whereas an agent sends their whole group there, and if someone books the role, then they negotiate the pay. A manager, right from the very beginning, is figuring out the best way to work and to use their influence to help that actor get the role. And a manager is also someone who, it's your first day on set. A manager will be down there on set, and they will be creating a bubble around you, making it so you can do your best work there. And they have to, because you're the only one. They're invested in your career.
Freeing the Actor is excited to give all of you up-and-coming De Niros and Streeps out there the opportunity to apply for the $5,000 Actors Scholarship. This is an amazing opportunity for actors wanting to do more training, make a film, or fly to LA. The lucky winner will also have their work shown on the season finale of The Actors Process. Have your work seen by family, friends, and the public eye. For more info, go to www.freeingtheactor.com.
It's quite expensive to relocate to LA. What's your opinion about actors moving to Canada?
Canada is a very viable option for a number of reasons. It's a member of the Commonwealth, so getting a visa is a lot easier, a lot less expensive, and pretty much a slam dunk unless you're a convicted criminal. But going also there, you're obviously not going to be exposed to the volume of work, but you're going into a market that has far less competition, and it's far easier to get seen. But you are still auditioning for, in a lot of cases, American productions which film in Canada. So you have the chance to get the exposure in the US, and it's sort of what I call like a stepping point towards LA. Plus if you go to set someone like Vancouver, you're a 3-hour flight away from Los Angeles as opposed to a 13. So it's a lot easier to come in for meetings and to sort of move your career forward.
So, Jason, we ask all of our guests what their favourite quote is at the moment, or if there's a mantra they live by.
You know, I think what I like to tell actors is, actors say, they're always saying, I want to work. When an actor actually gets work, that's the reward. Yes, you have to show up at a certain time. Yes, you have a schedule, but that's the reward for the work you've done beforehand. Acting is a job where you have to put all the investment up front. You have to put the money towards it. It's a business. You have to do all that work up front. And then when you finally get hired, you're being paid great money to play make-believe. That's the reward. And I think actors have to get into that mentality. It's not, someday I'll work. It's do all the work now, and eventually you'll get the reward.
And you also, at your seminar, had a great definition of what talent is. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, basically talent. A talented actor is one who can put themselves in an imaginary situation and actually believe it's real. To forget all the foreign environment around them and believe they're actually in that environment.
Today's viewer question comes from Aussie actor Elizabeth Shingleton, and she asks, "Hi Jason, as actors, we are encouraged to embrace our own uniqueness, which becomes our point of difference from a casting perspective. We must, however, remain castable and not sit too far outside the box. What are the most important things to bear in mind when presenting oneself as a castable actor in the US?"
Well, ultimately, it's not about thinking what you have to be. It's being the best you. Ultimately, that's who you are. We go to the movies to watch personalities. As actors, we appreciate good acting, but ultimately the general audience goes to be entertained. They go to follow certain people that they like. So you have to be the best you and just be comfortable being you, be comfortable in your own skin. If you look at successful actors, the one through line is their confidence and their sense of self. And the unfortunate part is, in the end, if nobody wants to see that you, then nobody wants to see that you. But you can only change you can't change who you are. And that is the quote product, but that is what you are bringing forth. So just be the best you.
And you also said in your seminar that in LA, you also have to know what your type is and actually turn up to LA in physical shape for that type. Can we just talk briefly about that?
Well, basically, as far as being in shape, you just have to be in your best physical shape. There are exceptions to that. If you're, say, a Seth Rogen, you're a heavy-set guy, there are guys who that. And in fact, if you're that type of heavy-set, funny guy, whatever, if you lose weight, and I've seen that happen many times, if you lose weight, you'll suddenly won't be castable. You've got to be, if you're a leading man, you can't be a flabby leading man. That's just not what you have to be, you have to be that type. So, but generally it's about being in your best shape. The camera adds 10 pounds, that whole thing.
So, Jason, what's your daily habit?
I have a mixed grain hot cereal every morning with fruit cooked into it, and cinnamon and a handful of walnuts.
Oh, I wouldn't like that one at all.
Keeps me full, gets me my fiber, and keeps me slim.
What habit do you think that actors should get into if they're really serious about having an on-screen acting career?
Well, eat well, but I think the most important thing is look for something to do every day to work. You're a business, so every day you should be working or looking for something that you can, whether it's another dialect, whether it's another physical skill, whether it's looking for scenes to do to use for an acting reel, anything that you can do to move your career forward, networking, all these kinds of things. And I think actors, they kind of get too relaxed about that, and they go, if they've got a class ongoing, they just show up to their class once a week. Every day you've got to look for something to do.
So Jason, thank you so much for joining us on The Actor's Process. Now, you do hold these amazing pro acting and Hollywood market seminars. What do actors take away from this seminar?
Well, my whole objective with the seminars is, unlike what a lot of other people do, it's not to sell Hollywood. In fact, I'm de-hyping it. I'm taking the hype away, taking the fantasy and the myths away from it. And I'm trying to give actors a realistic view of what they're getting into when they go to, not Hollywood, which is a tourist destination, but Los Angeles. And my objective is to help actors make smart decisions for their career. And they can only do that if they have the information at their disposal, if they know how it operates, as opposed to relying on other people to tell them. Because often these other people that they're relying on to tell them don't know the reality of it. And so that, I think, is my main driving force. If I can help actors avoid all the hurdles and all the walls that they put up in front of themselves, and give talented actors a chance to be seen, when they're most marketable. That's really my objective, because then they can find the success that they deserve.
And thanks to technology, you now can offer one-on-one Skype sessions. What do you chat about in these?
My objective for a one-on-one consultation is to give actors a straightforward, no BS view of how their materials are marketing themselves. Unlike almost everyone else in the industry, and unlike your family or your friends, I'm not there to try to be nice, and I'm not going to be mean, but my objective is not to send you out there with a smile on your face.
Be realistic.
Be realistic. So, for someone contacting me, I'll go through all their materials. I'll give them honest, frank advice about what they need to change, how well it's marketing them, and then look at what they're trying to achieve as far as their goals go, and set them on the right path for achieving those goals.
So what's the best way for actors to get in touch with you?
Well, you can look up Jason Seiner Talent Scout on Facebook, and I have a lot of links and helpful hints that I try to give out to actors, and I think those have been very useful. And they also give notices of when I'm doing seminars around the world. But also my website, www.proactmarketing.com, and that's a chance to just see what I talk about in one-on-ones and a chance to set up an appointment.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, Jason.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
You.
It was great. Great time.
So, what's your opinion? Do you think actors moving to LA is the best move? Check out this week's blog and leave your feedback. And a huge thank you to our viewers out there, and a big shout out to Showreels Australia and our amazing crew. Check out our website, theactorsprocess.tv, and find out how you can have your work seen by becoming our Viewer of the Month. Also, don't forget about that $5,000 Actors Scholarship. So much is possible with the Actors Process with your support. So please like us on Facebook, follow our tweets, and please share this episode with your friends. Remember Jason's wise words: the job is the reward. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Sunday on The Actors Process.